You've been thinking about dreams all wrong. What if they aren't random, irrelevant movies that play in your head while you sleep, but messages from your future self? I'm Patch.
And I'm Sara, and we're certified specialists in the unconscious mind. Dreams are actually mythical landscapes full of spiritual beings who exist to help you co-create your reality. And every week, we help dreamers uncover the ancient wisdom of their personal dreams and apply that wisdom to their waking life so that they can create the life of their dreams.
Welcome to Dream Lovers. Welcome back to Dream Lovers. I am just one of your hosts. My name is Patch Drury, and with me, as always, is the beautiful, the lovely, the charismatic Sara Drury.
Oh my gosh. Is this because I put red lipstick on?
Yeah, that's it. That's doing the whole thing. So welcome back, guys. We start this episode. I started with a caveat. Last night, I was having an allergy attack. And I took a Benadryl, and I have taken Benadryl all my life without incident. They dry me up and they help me sleep. But for some reason, last night, man, it did something weird to me. And after a full night of sleep, I woke up this morning and I am in a fog.
You are. You really are.
And so if
I can confirm this.
If I am stranger than normal acting in this episode. Which it's a spectrum, but if it's stranger than normal, that's why.
I guess I'm just hoping it'll work to our advantage, and you'll say something really clever because
I wouldn't count on that.
No. Well, that's why I'm here.
Yeah. Okay. Good. At least we got that covered. So we're doing a little something different with this episode today.
We are.
Yeah, we talked about this. Well, here, I'll tell you about it,
good.
since you obviously didn't come to the meeting and it was just me. Usually we analyze and interpret listeners' dreams in hopes that by listening, you start to immerse yourself and become familiar with the language of metaphor and imagery. But that's not the only thing that's helpful in interpreting dreams. And so from time to time, we're going to do episodes where we give you some helpful steps, some helpful wisdom in analyzing your own dreams. And that's part of what we're going to do today. And we're going to be talking about word association. Is any of this starting to sound familiar?
Yeah, I remember that now.
Good. So word association, you may think of it as something you've done with a friend at some point where they're like, okay, I'm going to say a word and you say the first word that comes to your mind. And that's literally all it is. But it was a big part of what Carl Jung did in his practice. He famously partnered with Freud for a while. And this was kind of like how he made his bones before he and Freud were a thing. He did word analysis. And in a psychological setting, in a psychotherapy setting, you don't just do word analysis can be very helpful, but you don't just do that. It's something that you do in the context of your whole treatment, and then it becomes very valuable. But so what I thought we'd do to start.
Well, hold on now.
Okay, go ahead.
You're always trying to skip over my part.
Oh, wait, I completely the card. I am so sorry. Yes, absolutely. I need you to
just
put a
you, just trying to get right to it.
I need you to put a Post-it note on your head that says card.
No.
Okay.
This is the fog. I'm gonna blame it on the fog.
100%. Let's blame it on the fog.
All right. But first of all, this is good because you set up the episode, so that's good. So everybody knows where we're going. And I just want to say, too, before I read the card, that really, like you said, part of the whole point of this is to understand and decode the messages. And the part that I keep wanting to drive home as well is it's not just about the messages, but it's about how we apply them in our
the application of the messages
lives. Because if these are messages from our future self or a 2 million year old mentor or higher self or whatever you want to say, which they are, then then it becomes even more important to start to understand what this language is saying to us and all of that. So I just like to put that in the forefront of our listeners' minds.
Absolutely. There was a saying, and I forget who said it, but it was basically like an uninterpreted dream is like an unread letter from God. And so, yeah, but what if you got the letter from God, you read it, and he said, hey, go to this place on this day, and then you didn't do it.
Right, you didn't show up.
So it's not just interpreting the dream, but it's also doing what the dream is telling you to do.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so the card that I pulled today, I think it's going to be really good. And it's from one of my very, very favorite decks, and maybe my first ever deck of oracle cards. And that is the medicine cards that are the animal medicine cards. By, I'll just say in case you want to go get them, Jamie Sams and David Carson. So, the card that I pulled today is the Wild Boar card. And I shuffled the cards 9 times, and then I saged them, and I was like getting them all ready, and then one of them just like popped out of the deck, and that was this one. So it really clearly wanted to be a part of this podcast.
Sure.
So, just so you know, this is the card that wanted to be here. And I'm not going to read the full, there's a full like 2 pages of explanation of what the wild boar means. So I'm not going to read all of that because we'll be here for like 4 hours.
Yeah.
But there's kind of like a concise, condensed one that I think fits perfectly. So, wild boar teaches us to confront without fear, ripping apart the denials and lies that appear, testing courage, finding truth. Its medicine will remain a part of every human path, marking the victories we attain. And what better example of what it means to really start decoding our dreams than to be confronting parts of us and aspects of us that sometimes we are in fear of.
Yeah, doing so without fear.
Or don't want to see. Yeah, exactly. So
I've had clients reach out to me to work before, and when I describe the work, their reaction is, "Oh, that seems a little like too much right now."
Yeah.
They're scared to get into their emotions, and we both have seen that for sure. So, okay, awesome. Well, thank you for pulling that card. Thank you for reminding me of it.
I'll keep reminding you.
I know you will. Thank you. Word association. That's what we're going to jump into now. And I thought the way we would do this, I want to give an explanation of how you can use this in dream analysis. But to start, I just want to do...
We'll just play a little game.
Yeah, I want to do word analysis.
So we'll do it,
or
but
word
I want...
association.
I want our listeners to do it too. So
yeah.
As we're doing this, wherever you're sitting or driving or whatever, do it along with us. So say the first thing that pops into your mind,
absolutely.
Right? Okay.
And
so do you have some words? Because
yes,
I did not
do.
come prepared.
No, I have
obviously.
I have some words.
Okay, good.
And so a psychotherapist, the most telling thing, hopefully, is the word that you come back with. Like if I say dog and you say attack.
Right.
Then that's charged. There's something there. But a psychotherapist would also look at how long did it take the person to come up with the word? Like, did they really have to pause a long time, or was it immediate?
Right.
They would look at your body. Like when I say that word, did you tense?
Yeah.
They look at their face. Like, what's their face doing?
Body language.
So there's a whole list of things that a psychotherapist would be studying when they do this. So,
I got you.
So I'm going to be studying you.
So I have to do it? I kind of wish that you would do it. I feel put on the spot right now.
Well, can you come
No,
up with some?
fine.
Okay. And so, and here's the other thing. Word association is not valuable for everybody. If you have some kind of language block or some sort of neurotic or neuroses around language, where you can't necessarily control what's coming out of your mouth, then it wouldn't be helpful. Or some people just can't open themselves up to the process. They overthink.
What are you trying to say?
I'm just saying nothing to you.
You felt like you were looking at me like in a weird way.
Absolutely
when you said that.
not. No, absolutely not.
All right, moving on. Let's
all right,
go.
so I'm just going to start. You ready?
I guess.
Okay, you just say the first word that comes to mind when I say a word.
Kind of nervous. I think you are. Okay, go. Just go.
Money.
I love it.
That's not a word. It's got to be a word. Just one single word.
Okay.
Okay. Mine. Okay. And there's a little bit of nervous laughter around that.
It's not around that. It's around the whole process.
The process. Okay. Yeah. Home.
Oh, you're saying that what I'm thinking isn't right. So where
No,
the heart is what I was.
Well, it's try to if you get a
Can I just
sentence.
Go with heart?
Yeah, if you get a sentence that comes to mind.
Family.
Distill that word.
I'm trying, but then I feel like I'm overthinking, so I'm trying to just go with the
That's
thing.
okay. You are allowed to take a while.
Right.
So if there's a process for you to get to a word,
Do
it's
we just say
okay.
it out loud?
No, nobody wants that. Just kidding.
Okay, but here's the thing: is because it was like home is where the heart is, but really that means family to me.
Okay,
so, family.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Nature.
Trees.
Love.
You.
Oh, that's sweet. That's super sweet. Sex. Yeah. If you don't say you now, what's that mean? Somebody else.
That was your first wife. Ooh, burn.
Snap.
You. We'll go with you again because
that was
you're gonna have to just cut that part out.
Art.
Go ahead. Wait.
Art.
Expression.
Sun.
Moon.
S-O-N, sun.
The opposite. Oh, just like heart fluttering open. I don't know. Just like that is the ultimate expression of love to me.
Okay. All right. So
I feel like I did so bad.
No, you didn't do. So don't judge your own process. If you were doing this with us and you were in the car or on your walk and you were responding, don't judge your process. And you said, I feel like I'm just saying the opposites. And you really only did that once,
okay.
By the way. But even that is telling. Art, you didn't have a fast, like most of your stuff came like that, but when it came to art, you really had to think about it.
Yeah.
And so that's the kind of thing a psychotherapist would be looking at is what are the ones that took a while? Mm-hmm. What is the other person, the anal sand? What is their impression of how they're doing?
So what's your analysis of me?
It's you don't want me to do it on the.
I do. This is why we're doing
just kidding.
this, right?
I'm not a therapist.
I know. We know.
So
your disclaimers are losing their charm.
I don't have a.
Okay.
Analysis of the job you did. I'll work on that, and I'll bring it to you later.
Okay.
It was nice that I said love and you said you.
That was your favorite part?
Yeah, that was my favorite part.
Okay.
Yeah. So how does this apply to dream interpretation for the individual? Yeah. I think there's a method of of word association that you can do with your dreams. And so what I would recommend, and this part, obviously I recommend and have recommended, you need to be writing and recording your dreams. Mm-hmm. And so when you do that, you just kind of write out what happened. Like, here's what happened, here's what I did, here's what this person did, blah, blah, blah. But then you can look at that, what you've written down, and you can say, okay, here's the list of nouns from this dream. Here are the people, here are the places, here are the things, here are the ideas. And then here are the list of verbs. You could even do here the list of adjectives, like break it down into the parts of speech. Make a list. We
actually have a PDF that you all can download, that you, the listener, can download, that kind of breaks some of this out for you too. So just send either one of us a DM on Instagram and we will make sure that you get the link for it.
Absolutely. And so after you make that list of the parts of speech, then you just go through and you start, and you don't have to do it split second like this word association game, but you take some time and you just start making associations with the words.
Yeah.
And so let's say you dreamed of the color blue. And so then you start saying, well, what does blue make me think of? Well, it may make me think of blue sky. So that's kind of this freedom or this airiness. Or maybe it makes me think of being blue.
So let me ask you a question really quickly.
Okay.
Excuse me.
I thought I was going to be the one coughing a lot.
I know. I'm sorry. So would this be an appropriate application? I know you hate them, but of a dream dictionary where they kind of give you some, because this, to me, this is, so before you told me dream dictionaries were trash and I had to throw mine away, I did have a dream dictionary that I would kind of, I used it in an intuitive way, but like what I would do is I would, let's say I dreamed of a blue sky, I'd be like, I'm not sure, like right off the bat, there wasn't anything maybe coming to me. So I would kind of go to blue sky and it would have maybe a few associations and I would say, ooh, like I would feel into, this is the one that feels very relevant to me here.
So what I would say to that is, I think you could do that and you could recognize like where, when I read these descriptions, where is the emotional charge, which is the one that goes, oh, but the problem is sometimes we get an emotional charge from something that we
it's not related to the dream.
Yeah. Like it's just, or we're just like, ooh, that's clever. And it may not actually apply to us and what we're going through. So yes, you could do that, but I would do that after I had made my own list. And then the value might be that you can look at those dream dictionary listings and
more
compare
of a validation.
them. Yeah, compare them to your own list and say, what are the connections? What are the same? What's different? So that's what I would say to that.
Okay.
But say you dream of blue. So freedom, blue sky, sadness, a feeling blue or blues music. Or sometimes when somebody curses, it's referred to as working blue. And so dreams are clever. They like
metaphorical.
They like wordplay even. So not just blue.
They're like Jack Henry.
Our son, yeah.
Because the subconscious is like it's an 8-year-old.
Like yeah. And so not just BLUE blue, but what does that sound like? It sounds like the word BLEW.
That makes me
so
think
blue,
of
like a time I blew a bubble, or anywhere you want to take that. So
like the lady that dreamt of Iran.
Yeah, she dreamed of the country Iran, but as we analyze the dream, we kind of realize, oh, she's running. Right. So it was telling about a time she ran. And so you make that list of associations next to the word, and then you go through, and just like I was saying with the dream dictionary, you pick out the one that has emotional charge for you. What is the one that feels right? So if you, like for me, if I dreamed about blue, even though I recognize working blue as a word, as a phrase, as a concept, it doesn't really have a lot of meaning to me. So I would probably cross.
I would have put that together.
I would cross that out, and I would find the one that seems like, yeah, I can see where I would dream about that. That makes some sense. And so take your dreams, separate into the different parts of speech, and then figure out over time what your associations are with each part of speech. And if you had a long dream, this may take a while. But there is no...
And why should I do that? Why should I... You
should do that because then it starts to give you clarity about what you think about the things that you're dreaming. These the symbols that appear in your dreams don't just come out of nowhere. They are symbols that are meaningful to you and that you have some connection to. The part of you, the future part of you, the self, the Jungian self that is creating these dreams is creating them from the storehouse of your own imagination and your own thoughts and feelings and emotions.
Right. So I wasn't asking for me, I was asking for our listener, but the other part of that, again, is that these are messages from this part of you that is wanting to assist you in moving forward and creating your reality. And so if you don't spend that time really tuning in to your own internal wisdom, essentially,
understanding yourself,
and understanding, yourself on this deeper level, this is just another even deeper layer in order to assist you in getting what you want, essentially. So you're basically shutting off this entire, wisdom that is assisting you in your life, not just it's not there just for the heck of it. It's there guiding you. So you're not getting your internal guidance if you're not spending time understanding 100%. This part of yourself.
So I have a question for you now.
Okay.
So say you go through the process and you figure out what the associations are.
Right.
And say you dream about your mother, which I think a lot of us probably have. Not your mother, but our mothers. Everybody's dreamed of Sarah's mom.
She is lovely.
We've dreamed about our mothers. And so we realize through the associations, when I dream about my mother, I realize I'm kind of judging myself, like that there's a part of me that feels very judged and feels kind of a negative association a little bit. So if somebody has that experience and they figure out, I feel judged by my mother, and that's what this dream is saying to me. Mm-hmm. What do they do? How do you deal with those feelings of judgment that may be coming to you? Or it doesn't have to be judgment, it could be any kind of negative. If you realize this dream is revealing to you what Jung would call a complex, like a negative relationship, a negative association with a person or a place or a thing, what do you do about it? How do
That's
you start?
Kind of a broad question.
Sure. And so I'm not, and so I guess I'm asking for what are the first steps of
right.
How do you start to overcome negative relationships in your life?
Well, I think this really is a broad question, and I like it because these are the things I really think about, is this practical application.
I wonder why I asked you.
I know. You're throwing me a bone or something here. So, but it's really never about the other person. I think especially if we're thinking about relationship, I think it's always a reflection of what's happening inside of you. So if you're saying, well, let's take the judgment and just take that apart, is like, if you're feeling judged by this particular individual, I think the first thing to say is, where am I judging myself? Where am I, and like taking their judgment on and putting it on to myself and accepting the judgment, basically. Because really, nobody can ever judge us. I mean, they can judge us, but it's not going to upset us unless we choose to let it in and let it be a part of our psyche and our lives and how we, approach things. So if, for example, if a person walking down the street that you've never met before hollers out that they hate the color shirt you're wearing, you might be like, okay, that was rude, and you'd move on, right? It wouldn't be something that you would carry with you, because you wouldn't have you'd be like, I really like this shirt, actually. I think I look amazing, so you're wrong. And you would move on. So I think the first thing here is really, whatever that interpretation that you're making may be, you just kind of have to start flipping it around and look at where you're placing that judgment on yourself.
That's really good.
I know. I'm just kidding.
It's what's significant to me is, Jung would talk about the thing we like, all the negativity we see in somebody else or we feel coming from someone else is projection on our part.
100%.
And he says, that's not to say, if you're dreaming about your mom judging you, it's not to say that she doesn't judge you on some level. He's
she probably does.
Yeah, when we
honest.
project onto someone, he would say there has to be a hook to hang that projection on. So yes, 100%. Maybe that's part of that relationship. But the more important thing is to say, what is, am I judging? Is that a part of my personality that I don't like? And so I say, oh, I don't do that. They do that.
Right.
So thank you.
And then, like, this is the thing, isn't this why it's a broad question? We have to get a little more specific. But then if it really is, there's a lot of judgment happening from a particular person, then we got to look at things like boundaries and how we're valuing ourselves in the relationship, and to the point where we're continuing to put ourselves in a dysfunctional relationship and not set those boundaries. So we could go on and on about this.
So it's not that you don't have to address that relationship, but that's not the only but that's not the only thing going on.
I think always, especially when it's a dream, you're always wanting to start with yourself.
You're being told, I would agree 100%, you're being told most likely 100% about something that you can address in you.
Yeah.
So, okay, awesome. Well, I feel
like this was kind of fun. I feel like I should have given you a couple of words.
Okay, we'll do it. Let's do it.
Okay.
We got time.
Podcast.
Fun.
Dog.
Angry.
You're full of...
Our dogs make me angry a lot.
Art.
So this is the thing that
wow.
I know like
I asked you that because you said I took a long time. Do you know
the first word that came to me when you said art? Sex.
Well, there you go.
And I can't tell you why. I don't know why.
So hold on, sex.
You. The first word that came was art because we had just been saying that. But then I was like, well, who do I want to have sex with? Well, you.
I feel like this is a lot about sex now.
That's okay. That's what give people what they want, man.
It's art.
People love sex. It sells.
Success. That's true.
So our next episode is going to be all sex.
Tune back in.
Thank you, guys.
If you enjoyed this episode, then you're going to want to check out our virtual dream circle, a community of dreamers who are tapping into their own subconscious guidance. We assist our students in interpreting the hidden messages in their dreams and then implementing that wisdom so that they can start living the future of their dreams now. Just go to dreamloverscircle.com to become a part of our inner circle today.